Cool. Hey, Brad White here, FabTech 2023. This is Jason Becker. What's up, man? How's it going?
Good.
How's the show been so far?
So far, so good. It's still kind of early, first day of the show, but I mean, it's massive. It's good to see that it's back up and running, full swing.
That's good, man. Yeah, I'm curious about Underground Metalworks. You bringing that down, starting up in Orlando, and kind of going from there. So, how did that idea come about?
So I left traditional my teaching gig back in August last year, and kind of wanted to set up my own welding school. And it just so happened that Steph was kind of getting out of the business, and she wanted to sell hers. So right around February, we connected. My business partner Rob and I, we went up there, checked out the school, checked out the equipment, made sure everything was still in good condition and everything, which was great. Conveniently enough, she had a shipping container right out back.
That's awesome.
Dude, we packed that thing slap full with all the equipment, everything. It was like right up to the line where you could close the doors.
Just brought it on down?
Just brought it on down. Threw it on, picked it up with a crane, set it on the back of a flatbed, and the driver, he brought it down to Orlando. We flew back that Monday and offloaded it on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's wild. So what do you look forward to with the school? Like, what are your goals for the school?
Just hands-on teaching, getting more people into welding. I mean, like what we do is, it's kind of like introductory level for the most part. So we do like a week-long comprehensive class, covers stick, MIG, TIG, and flux core. We have weekend MIG classes, weekend TIG classes, but it also affords me the opportunity to have specialty classes. So if I can get a group of people together that want to do something specific, I can just set up a class whenever I want. So now I've got the freedom and the liberty to train, welders how I want to train them. Or bring in new people into the industry, and if they they can either continue on at our school, or I can refer them to another school that in the area where they can go through like a traditional 6-month program.
Okay, dude, that's awesome, man. Are y'all gonna have any form of like testing to where if somebody say wanted to do like a D1 test locally, are y'all gonna have like testing dates?
Oh yeah. So I already have a testing lab set up in the back, and then I'm working right now to get my accredited testing facility through AWS. So I'm hoping that's going to happen sometime around October, November timeframe. Get that set up and running, then we'll be listed on the AWS website. But you don't necessarily have to be in an ATF to test welders. So we've got a whole area dedicated in the back to where we can bring people in and just test them. I've probably tested about 12 people in our new facility so far since July.
Dude, that's awesome. That's really good. Is there a certain thing you're looking forward to here at FabTech, like something you wanted to see, something you've kind of heard of in the industry or anything?
So I was talking to Mark Winchester the other day, and he said the MK Cobra, I've always wanted to check out their system, but I didn't know what they do. I knew they're like a big sponsor of FabTech and all that. But he said they make like the best push-pull guns in the game, so I want to check that out. ESAB's got the new Volt system, the battery-operated welder. I want to go check that out. I know you guys Everlast released the Typhoon last year. I didn't get a chance to weld with it because of my schedule, so I want to try and rip a couple beads on that.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It's definitely helped me fine-tune things.
Yeah.
So that's always good.
Dusty from Pacific Arc TIG Welding, I was chatting with him about it.
Yeah.
He said it's a great machine. Oh yeah, Dusty's a good dude. And then Mark, I guess he runs one at his house. He loves it.
Yeah, he's got one. Jesse's got one. Several other people have them. So they're good, man. They've been rolling out. We've really good response.
Nice.
So we even have the Typhoon 500 here.
Okay.
So it's gonna. I don't know what to do with over 300 amps. So.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Yeah, there's not much you can do. So it's been, 3 years since you took over the podcast?
Yeah, it was April 2020. Jimmy passed it down to me, and I put out my first episode, I want to say, first week of May. So yeah, about 3 years.
So how many episodes have you done?
Let's see, I'm at 290, I think 292, 293 came out this morning. But I also did all the Just the Tip episodes, the Weld Wednesday episodes.
The AWS special
Yeah, the
episodes.
AWS Weld Wednesdays.
Yeah.
There's probably about 400 or so episodes. I think I took over at podcast 120. So 120 was my first episode.
Okay, so
you can
about
do the math.
170.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Somewhere on it? Man, that's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
That's cool that, we all listen to it. I know I do every week.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I wanted, like when I took it over, that was the whole premise, is to be like another resource for the industry, for people that are getting into welding, kind of help them get on the fast track, identify a career path, because you get kids in welding school or somebody that wants to get into welding, and they want to know how to weld, but they don't know what they want to do with it. They don't know all the different sectors of the industry, you know, that you can get into, whether it's aerospace or, you know, working on freaking cars or, you know, skyscrapers, underwater welding. I mean,
there's so many. I mean,
there's so many
everything.
different facets.
Like, even things that most people don't realize need to be welded. You know,
Yeah.
the store fixtures, just you know, little bitty brackets and stuff that you buy in the store. You know, there's welding for everything.
Yeah, and then you get like the whole artistic factor.
Yeah.
You know, so and I don't want to discriminate on the episodes and keep it like one focus on one, you know, industry. I want to introduce everybody to everything, and that's the cool thing is because I'm learning right along with the guests half the time, or the audience half the time.
That's cool. I really enjoyed the episodes where you talk about starting up your own business and how those have gone, and hearing people's stories and just getting ideas on how to do my own thing on the side and build that up to that's actually really helped me out a lot.
Yeah, because I mean, welding's a great opportunity. If you want to start your own business, you want to be an entrepreneur, welding's a great way to do that, because once you learn, now you just figure out how to apply it. You want to get into, like I said, you want to get into artwork, you want to get into like repair work, you want to get into custom things. I mean, there's so many different avenues you can go, but nobody really understands the business side. You know,
Right,
so I like those episodes where you can kind of learn early about the pitfalls of business, maybe how to bid a job, how to how to get work, how to bring in clients, how to take care of your clients, all
Definitely.
that stuff.
Or the mental health episode, that was a good one.
Dude, I got so I wanted to put that one out because I've talked to so many people in the welding industry that have been struggling with mental health issues. And I was like, dude, if it's like 4 or 5 people that are this close to me, it's got to be impacting a lot more people. And I've had issues with it myself. So I was like, I want to put a pod, so I like put a little note in my app or whatever, like that's a topic I want to take care of. And then Mike Miller reached out to me, and he's like, hey man, just out of the blue, you wouldn't happen to be interested in talking to my life coach, would you? And I was like, what's a life coach? And he started talking about the mental health aspect, and I was like, dude, that's actually on my list of topics. I was trying to track somebody down, and so it just worked out perfect.
It's one of those things like you put it out in the
Put it out in the universe, and it
just
yeah,
kind
it
of
comes
comes back and
yeah.
it happens. So that's really cool, man. I would think you being a veteran, Marine Corps veteran, correct? So 9/11 today, actually.
Yeah.
So just you being a veteran, you would have some form of dealing with that on some aspect, or know someone that is going through that.
Oh yeah.
Because I have several buddies that are veterans that have PTSD issues and all that. So just putting that out there and getting the conversation started sometimes is.
That's what it's all about. A lot of people, they're either ashamed, or because they can't handle it themselves, or they compartmentalize it and they like just lock it away, and they don't deal with it, and it turns into stress, and it kind of eats you alive, man. So like I said, nobody wants to talk about it, so we just got to get the conversation started and kind of normalize it. And say it's okay to have issues. Here's some ways of dealing with it.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, really the only way you're going to know that there's a problem is or can solve a problem is if you know that there's a problem.
Oh, for sure.
So that just becomes...
Yeah, it's just bringing awareness to it. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of, Everybody deals with their own struggles.
Yeah, for sure. So what are some upcoming episodes you're looking forward to?
All the episodes that I put out, but no. So I'm actually getting a lot of content while I'm here at FabTech. I've got Mark Winchester coming up. Matt Tyler's going to be on. I've got Charlie Cross, Perdreic Beans coming on. I think there's 7 episodes. I'm doing some stuff with Fronius and ESOB. So I'm collecting a lot of content right now, so that's going to slowly trickle out as I get time to edit. But then I'm doing a lot of travel. So I'm actually linking up with Kevin Johnson with the Welding Business Owners podcast. He's doing the Fabricator Olympics up in his place, Quakerville, PA. So I'm going up there for the day. So that'll be pretty cool.
Fabricator Olympics?
So I don't know what the projects are, but I think he's got like 22 spots or whatever, and he's just going to put 22 different fabricators head to head.
Really?
And it's going to be a competition. I think there's like a $1,000 cash prize, a welding machine, a bunch of stuff from Lincoln, so it's going to be pretty cool. I don't know if I'll get an episode while I'm there, but that should be fun. Right after that, I fly to the IEC conference, so I'm going to get the automation conference. So I'm hoping to talk to some people in automation, get them on the podcast. That's another episode I'm looking forward to getting out there. I mean, if you look around at FabTech, I mean, there's automation every other booth.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not coming, it's here.
No, it's definitely here. And some of it's actually really impressive.
Yeah.
Just to see the fluid movements that go in. And I know from a standpoint where I can see where it makes it just more efficient to build things. And to know, hey, you may need to learn a little bit more so that way you can program these things, work with these, because just to keep a job and moving forward in the trade. So,
but that's one of the episodes, or some of the episodes I'm looking forward to, as far as like doing the automation, learning more about automation, robots, cobots, CNC plasma cutters, lasers, all that stuff. I mean, it's new technology, so getting those episodes on the show. I'm going to be doing some stuff with Canadian Welding Bureau up at CanWeld in New Brunswick. So I'm really looking forward to going up there and catching some episodes or doing some episodes. Max is an awesome dude. Like that whole team up there, great people. But I've never been to Canada, so that should be pretty cool.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. I've never been to Canada.
Yeah,
so that's cool, man.
So looking forward to like doing episodes like that. And then I got some other stuff that I don't want to put it out there just yet. But
sometimes you just can't show all your cards.
I can't put all the cards out on the table, but that's just some of the stuff I'm looking forward to for the remainder of the year. FabTech kind of kicks off busy season for me, as far as all that running and gunning and traveling and all that stuff. So, but I'm looking forward to all of them.
That's good, and with the school too. So
yeah, that's gonna help.
Are you hands-on teaching at the school?
Yeah.
Are there multiple instructors you have? Or?
I've got other instructors that teach like the weekend courses and the evening courses. Mm-hmm. I personally teach the 1 week comprehensive courses, and we set that schedule kind of around my travel times and stuff like that. So I'm not canceling a trip or canceling a class. That's the last thing I want to do is if somebody registers, they want to take that trip down to Orlando to come learn how to weld or improve their skill set. I don't want to have to shift class dates and stuff around, so those are set in stone up until December 2023, and then we'll come out with the 2024 schedule probably sometime in November.
Yeah. So are you doing like short burst classes, or is it like semester based?
No, it's all short term, in person, low class sizes. We only have a class size of 5 people.
Oh, okay.
So like my week long comprehensive class, we start off with MIG short circuit day 1. And then we get into a little bit of flux core gas shielded. Day 2, we get into stick welding on Wednesday, day 3, and then we start TIG, and TIG covers Thursday and Friday. We'll go through steel, stainless, and aluminum.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty quick, down and dirty, but you get that one-on-one, hands-on. And most of the people that are coming in, they've already got a little bit of skills, or they've done some research, so they've got some of the fundamentals. But we cover basics, fundamentals, safety before we get started on anything. I'll do a demo, and then I'll work with each student one-on-one. And it's, I think the week long's 36 hours.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
No.
That's not. I
mean,
and then
people
that's
can
enough
come
to
back.
where you can get into practice, and if they want to up it to something else, then they can do that.
Yeah, or if they come in and they want to do a specific process, like if you want to sign up for the comprehensive class, all week, Monday through Friday, and you just want to focus on TIG, well, that's fine. I'll get everybody else dialed in, set up with what they're doing, and then I'll come over and help you focus on TIG. Then we do the weekend MIG and weekend TIG classes. They're 2-day classes each, and you can focus on those 2 specific processes. And maybe you're a little bit more advanced. You don't need that basics. That's fine. The instructor there will work with you at your skill set to bring you up to that next level.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
And then you can keep coming back. Like Stephanie had a lot of students that would take the MIG and TIG classes 3 or 4 times. So you can come back a couple different weekends,
learn
and then you get tuned up, and then maybe you
just kind of advance it a little bit each time. So.
And then you go out and you start building stuff or fabricating, and then you get to the next level where it's like, man, I got to get a little bit better at this, and then you come back for the class, we get you tuned back up and off and running.
That sounds awesome, man. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the little tune-up thing seems pretty cool because sometimes I'm like.
You haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, I haven't done it in a while, but I question like taking on another project and that to be like, well, maybe I could, but
Yeah.
And if there were a place to go to like, hey, what am I doing wrong here? Just that little bit of extra.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are learning like via YouTube and all that stuff nowadays, which is great. But you don't get that feedback. You don't get that. It's like
you don't,
and you don't know what went wrong. So if you have somebody there that can give you immediate feedback and say, oh man, your work angle's off like 5 degrees, or your travel angle's off, or if it's TIG welding, you're not dabbing consistently. You're so focused on that arc, you really can't see what you're doing wrong.
Yeah, just the little things, the little improvements.
And that's usually all it is. I mean, you can teach somebody to TIG weld not proficiently, and in the course of 2 days, I mean, they'll be doing well enough, but I mean, they've got the fundamentals and the basics to where they can go back home and just keep working on that and get dialed in.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's all hood time.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it takes every time.
Yeah.
Just hood time, just doing it repetitively. But I mean, that's a good thing. Getting over and over again. So
yeah, repetition.
That's awesome. So, how do you go about testing at the facility?
Well, typically, somebody will call me up and they'll tell me, hey, I got to get my welder certified, and that's really all the company knows about it. They just know that they need a certification. I try to take things to a different approach and educate the client, so I'm not like selling them, anything that they don't need, or testing their welders to stuff that they don't need, or overcharging them for something that's, that could be simple. Yeah. So I asked them, hey, what type of work are you doing? What type of work are you going to be doing? What process, what material thickness, what joint configurations, because if you just need like a simple fillet weld brake test done, you don't need to do a full scale D11 3G stick test. Yeah. That's what everybody thinks when they think, oh, they're certified, but it really comes down to process, materials, all that good stuff. So I try to educate the client. I do work with all the different D11, D12, D15, like all the different codes. So I try to base that towards the client. And then we do a little bit of ASME Section 9. I'm breaking into that. I took Walt Spurko's class 2 years ago, or a year ago, somewhere around there.
Where's his class at?
He had it in Houston, over in the Woodlands.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, dude, take that one. I mean, if you're in that area, Walt's a freaking genius, man. He practically wrote that book, or he knows it inside and out, verbatim. Awesome. But I'll just work with the client, find out exactly what they need. You have pre-qualified procedures, so it's easy to write up a pre-qualified WPS. But if not, I've got to look into qualifying it for that company. Because I can't test you, to my standards and then send you to go work over with this guy or this guy.
Yeah,
like I need their WPSs that they have on file to test them. And most of the companies that come to me, they don't have a WPS to test the welder to. So I get to help build that WPS. And if it's not pre-qualified, we'll go ahead and we'll develop a PQR. We'll set up a procedure qualification record. We'll go through and write down a preliminary welding procedure, write everything out, dial it all in, weld it out, and then we'll send that plate off for external testing. Typically, it's 2 tensils, 2 bends, and then we can qualify depending on the code. But we'll get the procedure qualified. Then that comes back. If the welder that tested it, if that plate passes, that welder's now certified by proxy because they made that weld.
Right.
So once the procedure's certified, then the welder is. So you can save the client a little bit of money doing it that route, because now I don't need to certify their guy. I've just certified their WPS and their welder in one step.
Okay.
So versus charging for the WPS and then charging for the weld test, it's kind of like
way more efficient.
Added value.
Yeah, just like an efficient way of doing it. So at the time of developing it, their guy knows how to do it.
Yep.
So that's really cool.
So
that's kind of a smart way of going about things.
And it builds that relationship with your client. You start building that trust from day one. Because a lot of them, I mean, they could come in and I'd be like, oh yeah, I could certify, and just start charging them every time. And then when they go back to their client, they're like, that's not what we need. So I can save them a lot of time, money, and hassle. And the next thing you know, I'm their first phone call. I've got clients, I had to write 5 different procedures for them and then go in there and test all 5 of their welders. But while I was there, I educated them on, switching different processes to become more efficient. So it was more added value for the client. It's like, if you switch your gas to, like a 80-20 mix or 85-15 mix, 85-15 mix or 90-10, we can get you into a spray transfer.
Right.
You can start moving a little bit quicker, running some thicker material.
Get it going a lot faster, be more efficient
instead
with what you're doing.
Instead of running flux core, or instead of running short circuit MIG for these vertical applications on, half-inch plate, let's switch you over to like a flux core because you don't have pulse capabilities. So just educating them, because most of the people, they'll come into a shop, they'll buy a machine, they don't know what all that machine can do and what they actually need to get the job done.
Yeah, they just think, okay, I'm just going to weld it this way because that's what I know.
That's what I know.
If you tell them other ways that work better, then...
So next thing you know, man, they're switching gas, and I don't make a profit off that, but I'm educating the client. So they're switching gas, they're switching wire. Now they're able to do different processes, get their welders tuned up, get them certified, and then they can bid on more work. Now the client's a little bit more educated, and I mean, it's a win-win for everybody.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. And chances are they retain that knowledge too and pass it on. So
then they pass it on to the new guy that's coming in the shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, don't do it that way. Like we just learned how to do it this way.
Yeah.
That's another thing we're doing at the school. So we'll set up private corporate training. You know, if a company
really?
has 3, 4, 5 welders, and hey, we want to get them shored up in this process, or whatever, we can go in there and get their skill set built up. Now, if we do that and they want to get certified, I can't be the one to train them. So I've got other instructors, because it's kind of like an ethical violation. Like if I teach you how to weld, I can't then turn around. We've developed this rapport and certify you.
Well, I mean, that kind of cuts out favoritism.
Exactly.
All that kind of stuff.
So I try to keep all that stuff separate. That's why I have other instructors on staff. So if you want to come in and learn pipe, that's not my forte. I've got a guy that can teach you how to do that. Done it for 20 some odd years. He's a hull technician in the Navy, so he'll teach that, and then I can go ahead and I can certify the welders that way.
How'd you and your partner meet for the school, Robert?
Rob was actually one of my students back in 2016. So he's a retired Navy chief. Wanted to come in for essentially the school that we're running now. He just wanted to learn how to do TIG welding.
Okay.
And at the time, you had to take the entire course.
Okay.
So he's got to take an entire 6-month course to learn 6 weeks of TIG welding.
Right.
And so we met that way. He was one of my students. He ended up graduating, and because of his background in the Navy, he was like a maintenance tech for airplanes, or communications and all that stuff. We had a mechatronics program that was going on, and we walked by a stack of boxes. We were going to get filler metal one day, and walked by. He's like, "What's in all these boxes?" And I started explaining. I was like, "Oh, it's a new mechatronics program. It's all hydraulics, pneumatics, this, that." He's like, "Dude, I did that for like 24 years in the Navy." I said, "Well, they're looking for an instructor if you want to put your resume in." So he gave me his resume. I took it back to my director, and like 2 weeks after graduation, he was hired and he was my colleague. We worked over the school for 5-6 years together before leaving and starting Underground Metalworks.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you retired from teaching to, well, I don't know if that's the term. Did you retire from teaching?
No, because I'm still teaching now.
Well, yeah, but I
just left the higher education.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I just left teaching at a college level.
You just kind of create your own path and do your own thing. I mean, it's kind of worked out so far for you.
Yeah.
With the podcast, all the old weld.com videos that we've all watched. Just that educational stuff goes a long way.
And that's kind of what I'm passionate about, or not kind of. I mean, that's what I'm passionate about. I love.
It seems that way.
Yeah, you get to talk about it, get to do it, teach people, pass that information on to the next generation. Like I said, kind of putting them on the fast track, because there's a shortage of welders right now.
Right.
Everybody's screaming about it. So the ones that are actually in welding, they've got to be competent at what they're doing.
Yeah,
They're not going to have anybody else to train them and teach them.
Exactly.
So we've got to do what we can to get that information out there, whether it's short-term training classes, a podcast, YouTube videos, Instagram Reels, just as long as the information is factual, because there's a lot of BS out there. So I try to make sure that everything that I put out is factual.
True. Yeah, I've come to you a couple of times with information I've had about certain metals and stuff. So, just having an extra resource to reach out to sometimes.
And that's all it is.
A little bit of reassurance that, like, okay, this is what I thought. Is this cool?
Yeah. Is this going to work?
Is it
not?
Yeah. Even that, even that part of the community. So.
Oh yeah, that part's been freaking awesome. I mean, there's so many people. Nate Bowman. You can reach out to him and chat with him, and he'll be able to hook you up with information. Jesse McCollum and Mark Winchester. I mean, everybody that I've kind of I've reached out, before we knew each other, and they're like, "Oh yeah, here's this, just get me dialed in."
Yeah, exactly.
So it's been a great resource.
Yeah, like Mark. Sometimes before I weld some aluminum stuff, I'll hit up Mark like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. Am I in the ballpark right here?" And he'll be like, "No. You need to be, He's the welder whisperer for AC.
Same thing, Dusty James. I've reached out to him the other day.
Yeah,
having that resource, man, getting you plumbed up.
Yeah, exactly. Just that reassurance.
Yeah,
sometimes
100%
helps. So, yeah, you got stuff to do.
No,
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, buddy. See you around.